Okay guys, so today for our e-learning lesson, we are going to learn how to draw an eye, a nose, and a mouth. So what you will do is watch these tutorials that I'm going to do for you. So I'm going to draw each one right here, a step by step, and then you are going to, on your own paper, draw an eye, a nose, and a mouth based on what you learned from my video. Then what you're going to do is go to your Google Docs, open a new document, go to Insert, Image, and then find that camera icon. You'll go ahead and take a picture of your drawing that you did, save that document to your Google Drive, and then you will upload that onto Canvas for the assignment that is for the e-learning day. That assignment is going to be due Friday today at midnight, so make sure that you have that done. This video hopefully will only take about 15-ish minutes, so you'll have the second half of your class period to be able to work on that. If not, just go ahead and finish it up this evening and make sure you get that turned in, okay? So to start off, I want you to look at this sphere here. So with a sphere, this is how we find what form we have. So we started off with a circle, and now we're going to shade and turn it into a form, okay? So it makes it look three-dimensional. So when you look at each of your facial features, you want to look at those as if they are shapes, and we want to turn them into forms. So I'm going to start off with the eye. And I hold my pencil like this because if you have your pencil as close to parallel with your paper as possible, that's how you're going to get that really soft, nice shading, okay? So to start off with my eye, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a circle, and I'm going to do mine pretty big. That way you guys can see it pretty easily. Okay, inside that circle, I'm going to add another circle, and it's about the same distance. Okay, so the width of this circle is about the same as what's out here. Okay, then inside this circle, I am going to fill in another little circle. This is going to be my pupil. So we have our iris and our pupil. Okay, you can go ahead and shade in your pupil if you want to. What I would start with is adding something like that, some sort of shape for your highlight, okay? This outer edge is going to be very, very dark, okay? So you'll start shading that in pretty dark. If you look at your own eye, you'll see that you have some lines that radiate outward. So I like to add some of those in there as well. Okay. Then using very light pressure, I'm going to start shading inward toward my pupil. Okay, so it's going to start dark, get lighter, and then get dark again once I get to my pupil. Okay. If you don't think there is enough contrast, if it's not too much dark and light, you can always just make it a little bit darker with your pencil. Same with the pupil. Sometimes you have to go back in and make that even darker, okay? Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend as if this outer circle is the edge of my eye, okay? So starting on my outer, I'm going to go right pretty much in line with the middle of my pupil. And this is going to create your eyelid. Now your eyelid always covers a little bit of your iris. So notice how I'm coming down a little bit from where that line was. Okay, I'm making essentially like a hill. Right now it kind of looks like a Pokemon ball. Okay, for my bottom corner, if this is my left eye, when you flip it over, you're going to have your tear duct on the inside. That's the only thing that's going to come outside of your eye is your tear duct, okay? Then I'm going to bring this back up and connect that together, okay? Generally, where the top of this circle is or just below it is where your crease of your eye is going to be. So usually it touches at least one part of it. Mine might be a little bit too big, so I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. And then down here, same thing. I think mine might be a little bit too big, so I'm going to bring it up just a tad. Then you can take your eraser and go ahead and erase that outside circle. Okay, next all you need to do is add some shading to your eye. So I'm going to add some shading above my eyelid normally. Oh, and don't forget to erase the top of your circle here too. So normally the top part of where your iris is going to be pretty dark because your eyelid is going to cast a shadow over it. Okay, and I'm just using really light strokes. If it's not dark enough, just go over it again. Okay. Next, I'm going to go under my eye and do the same thing. We create a bit of a shadow here. Okay. Up here above the eyelid, I've got some more shadows. So I'm going to continue very lightly sketching some darkness on here. The middle of your eyelid is usually the lightest part. Usually you have a highlight right there. And then you usually have some sort of darkness right here in your tear duct. Okay. Then you can take it a little bit further if you want to, and you can add some shading on the inner corner of your eye. Okay, and then when you come from these corners here, it's going to be very dark right in the corner, and then it's going to start to get lighter the closer you get to your iris. Okay, same over here. Start dark and get lighter. Okay, up here, you're going to have your lines for your eyebrow. So you can sketch that in if you want to. Okay. The last thing that you add for an eye would be the eyelashes. So when you are happy with how it looks, you're done with every component of the eyes when you add the eyelashes. So what I like to do is I start by pushing pretty hard on my pencil, and then I slowly lift up. And that's how you're going to get those really thin eyelashes, okay? Or if you lightly press, you can get those as well. Okay, I'm adding a little bit more than there should be, but just so you guys can kind of see. Same with the bottom. Just a little bit of a touch there. Okay. Next, I'm going to do a nose. The key to noses is that we see circles. Okay, so I'm going to start off. Again, I'm going to make this a little bigger than yours will probably be. But I'm going to start off by making a circle. Now, the trick to this is drawing very lightly because you're going to erase quite a bit of it. But I'm going to make 3 circles. One big one in the middle. That's going to be the middle of your nose. 2 outside ones that sort of overlap. Okay. What we do first is right here on this side is going to be the outside of our nose. So I'm going to darken that. Kind of like parentheses. Okay, same on each side. Okay, next, this line down here is going to be the tip of my nose. So I'm going to curve it up, bring it back down, and curve it back up. Okay, and the sides of my nose are going to come a little bit underneath that, but not touch it. Okay. Once I get to that point, I'm going to go ahead and erase some things. I'm going to erase the top of that little circle on the left. Same with this other circle. If I have any left over down here, I'm going to go ahead and erase that. The only thing I'm going to keep is where these 2 circles overlapped on the top. So these 2 marks here, I'm going to keep those because those are going to be my indents on my nose. Okay. Next is all pretty much shading. So the rest of your nose is all going to be shading. These are the only really harsh lines that we're going to have. So from the outside in, we're going to have some shading. Okay, just moving my pencil back and forth, doing it very lightly. If I need to make it darker, I can. I'm going to do that on both sides. For my nostril, you're not going to fill them in completely, but you're going to add some shading to them. So it's going to be dark right at that line, and then it's going to get a little bit lighter as you get out. For my nose up here, very lightly, kind of reshaping that circle there on each side. And then shaping up to that tip of my nose. Okay, so the part where your nose points out the most. Down here, this is going to have some shading too as it comes around, kind of like when you're shading a sphere, okay? This is as if the light is right up here. You're going to have some darkness around these areas, okay? The highlight's going to be right around here. Okay, so think of that middle of your nose as a sphere. Same with these two, okay? Your light's kind of coming from the diagonal sides, okay? From the outsides, you're going to have even more shading over here on the other side. Okay. Then my lines are going to curve up. Okay, so this one, we've got some shading. It's going to curve up this way and come in. It's actually not going to start out there. It's going to start from about where this line is. So you're going to shade up here. Same on the other side, start shading upward. And then where these two marks end here, those are going to shade up too. Okay, so then you have those equal sections of your nose. And you can make this darker depending on how dramatic your curves are on your face. Okay, looking at your face is going to tell you if you need to add less or more. Okay, so that is how you do a nose. So I've got my eye and my nose. Next, I'm going to do the lips. So the first thing you need to look at as far as your lips is this middle line here. Okay, so how does that line look? So I'm going to start off by drawing like a general shape here. It's going to come up like a little hill, have a little valley there, and then come back up. Okay. Your bottom lip does not usually have a harsh outline unless you're wearing lip liner or something like that. So I'm just going to start off by doing something like that. Your top lip has a little bit more of that. Okay, so I'm just going to follow the curve of that middle line but make it a little bit more dramatic. Okay. When I start my shading, again, I'm going to hold my pencil sideways like this. And I'm going to start on the outsides and I'm going around the curve of the lips. Okay, notice how I'm going back and forth and I'm trying to use very light pressure. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay, very light pressure. The insides of your lips are going to be where your highlights are. So it's going to get the lightest there. Okay, you're going to have a shadow down here at the bottom. So you can bring that up there. And then you usually have a shadow right here at the top of your bottom lip as well. Okay, the lighter that you push, the more it's going to blend with what you already have on there. For my top lip, it's going to get pretty dark here in my corners. And then the closer you get to the center, the lighter it's going to get. Okay, so really dark in the corners. And then lighter the closer that you get. If you lose your middle line, you can go ahead and push harder to reinforce that, to bring it back in there. You might need to add a little bit of shading just to kind of blend it back in if you do it too much. Okay, I'm going to add some more darkness here on the sides. Down here, just reinforce those shadows. Okay. You can extend your lines here a little bit because you are going to have a shadow right when your lips end on the left and right side. And some people do have prominent lines on their lips that go down like this. So if your lips are more prominent as far as those, you might want to add a few of them. Don't add too many, but you can add a couple in there. Underneath your lips, you're going to have a shadow that comes down. Gets darker right at your lips. And kind of comes down and out. Right here, you're going to have a shadow. Okay, again, I'm starting darker right here towards the lips and then just slowly lifting my pencil up as I get further up. There's another little shadow on this side and another on this side. And then that is where essentially your nose would start. Okay, so if I kind of folded my paper here a little bit, your nose would go right about there. Okay, and then seeing your eye would go something like that. Okay. If you have any questions, I will be available for office hours from 1 to 2:30, I believe. It's on the schedule. I don't know the exact hours, but if you have any questions, just let me know. This is the lesson I have for you guys today, and just let me know if you have any questions, okay? Again, to submit, go to a Google Doc, insert image, click on the camera button, take a picture of your drawing, and upload it to your assignment on Canvas, okay? Thank you.